stampers, another video tutorial for you. We're going to make a little 2x2 treat box. I've got some of the cards made up here that I used to go along with the project. I did this one around Valentine's Day, but you can adapt it for any occasion. So we're using our framelits and embossing folder to create a lovely little card that has love on it. And we're going to create a little treat box to go along with that. So a nice little gift for someone. So the treat box base is going to be 8.5 by 4. I found this tutorial on Poodles, and it's an awesome, awesome little box. And I wanted to create it for Stamp Club, so I did. And I'm making a video tutorial to go along for my stampers so that they can keep creating them. So this is 8.5 by 4 for the cardstock base. We're going to score the short side first, and we're going to score at 1.5 and at 3.5. Okay, so when we're on the short side, the 4-inch side, score at 1.5 and 3.5. Then you're going to move to the long side, and you're going to score at 2, 4, 6, and 8. 2, 4, 6, and 8. Okay, now the side that we have across the top is our short side, so we've got a larger square down this way, or larger rectangle, and we've got a shorter rectangle up here with our score line. Okay, you can see that. You want this edge across the top, and what you're going to do is you're going to score down to the first score line only at 3 and 7. So right in the middle of this square, you're going to score at 3, and right in the middle of this square, you're going to score at 7. Okay, and that's that for the simply scored. So you can move that out of the way. We're going to create a couple of our own score lines. So just on the tabletop here, or you can use a pad of grid paper underneath it. And what we're going to do is we're going to go from this score line right here where that meets. We're going to go from here all the way down to this corner. So we're going to create 2 triangles. Okay, so I'm going to take my little stylus from my Simply Scored. I'm going to go from the middle of this triangle, or the square, sorry, to the other side, to the corner. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I'll show you what that looks like. So you've created 2 triangles here. You've gone from that where those score lines join down to the corners. Okay, so you've done that on 2 of them. And those little score lines you can just fold a little bit. Don't need to use the bone folder on those. Those are going to fold in on their own. The rest of the score lines you're going to fold, and you're going to crease with your bone folder to make sure that they're nice and firm and well creased so that the box will fold. Those side ones are good. I don't even think I need the bone folder for those. And then these ones will go in on their own. Okay? Perfect. So what I've done on this guy is I've cut some squares. I've used the cherry cobbler here. So what I've done is I've cut 2 squares that are 1 7/8 each out of the very vanilla, because I want to decorate the outside of the box a little bit. So 1 7/8 squared. It's going to go on this side. These are the squares that do not have our triangular lines. See, they're the opposites. 1 7/8 squared. And I've used some of the old Farmer's Market DSP. And I've cut these squares to 1 3/4. So they're going to nest. 1 3/4. Okay, easy peasy. And now I'm going to cut a little bit out here. So you've got your small flap at the top and your larger flap at the bottom. So on the larger flap, there's a rectangle on the very end that I'm going to remove. Like this. And then what I'm going to do is cut up the flaps on the bottom of the box so that we can put our box together. Okay? So where this is a 2x2 box, and I love this about her creations, where it's a 2x2 box, you can put snail on this little flap here. Okay? You can fold this over, and this is going to match up, and I love this about her, a lot of her creations, is that they match up perfectly, so there's no fiddling when you're trying to put it together. I use the crease as the back, so I'm going to push these down, the sides down, and then I'm just using snail for the video. Use some fuse, use some tear and tape, some sticky strip, whatever you've got. Sorry, I'm going to do that again. There's my back crease. I'm going to do sides first, the back flap, and then the top flap. Okay? Sides first, back flap, top flap. There we go. And then you see these triangles, they're already kind of bending in, right? They might be bending out, but all you have to do is just poke them in. You've given them a little guide before we put the box together. And then this is going to fold together, and you can see how the inside matches right up. How cool is that? I'm going to take my crocodile and I'm going to punch a hole here. There we go. And I'm going to put some twine through. This is some of the thick baker's twine. Thin, thick, really thin ribbon. Some of the linen thread, whatever you've got. And you can just tie this up. Sorry, I'm kind of off camera here for the bow because I'm leaning it up against me. But just 1 second and I'll show you. There we go. My nice crooked bow. So I'm going to bring this guy in and show you what he looks like. Nice crooked bow again. But I've decorated him with the teeny tiny wishes and a little bit of a butterfly. And then that matches up with the card. You could do them in the Blackberry Bliss too if you stocked up on that before that retired. You can do them out of any color, any paper. Either way, just a nice little treat bag, a little 2x2 treat bag that I originally got from Poodles, and I did at Stamp Club for our Valentine's Day for our February club. A little bit of a treat to say I love you. You can adapt it to any occasion that you need to. Hopefully you like the tutorial, and happy stamping!